Very good evening, everyone. Ornava Chaudhary. You can follow me under my social media handles, arunfoot. And I have a guest who will most probably have a huge smile on his face. Shushmit joining us from the US. Shushmit, you have the Mohun Bagan ground in the background, a beautiful, beautiful view. I see some parts of the Maidan and Park Street 42 on that side. Lovely, lovely, lovely picture in the background. 4-0
Thank
in
you.
the end, convincing win for Mohun Bagan. I think it was also needed, after the last few games. How happy are you as a Bagan fan tonight?
I am obviously very happy because the rivalry between Bengaluru and Mohun Bagan goes back a long way. Starting from the first I League win that we have had, we have had a lot of matches going down to the wire in Bengaluru, especially the last match, the season where we won the I League by 85-minute goal by Rezobola. Belorazak, sorry.
Belora
So
Sakha.
yeah, so yes, but we needed this win uh, to have a fair shot at the championship. We had very high hopes at the start of the season that we were going to go and win it all. Unfortunately, it did not work like how we had expected. We had thought that we would have a comfortable win, but that did not happen, and so this has actually gone down to the wire. And a good thing about Indian football is that I believe at this moment the last match is going to be between the two best teams, and we wanted this win especially because we wanted Mumbai at our ground, so that they have to beat us or at least hold us to draw to avoid defeat to get to the championship. And if they can do that, I would say, they are deserving winners. But at least we needed to create that situation where we could, force them to come to us. And for that, Bengaluru match was very important. It's very rare that when you have such burden of expectation that you deliver. Uh, Antonio Havas, especially him not being on the sidelines for medical reasons, that generally we have seen has played a part. But I have always, for those who don't know Manuel Casalena, I think he's a very good coach. He has done very good work in Indonesia and all. So yeah, I have faith in him, and he did correct good changes and all. With We were lucky at certain points, but then I had tweeted it out that I had concerns regarding Rahul Gupta being the referee. Not I'm not going to get into whether he makes the right call or the wrong call. Sometimes it does benefit us, like they did in Amandeep's case today. But we have also seen few cards which were not supposed to be there. The My concern was that he has a habit of ruining the game. And the biggest example, the Mumbai City Mohun Bagan home game. I hope he will not be the referee officiating, because if that's the case, we have no chance. But apart from that, yeah, it was a good game. I I kind of feel bad for Bengaluru because I feel that Bengaluru lacks the attacking intent, and that is maybe because of the how they have built the team from the start of the season and all. That is what they have, and especially Javi Hernandez is the key player who was almost absent today. So that helped us. Thankfully, Sunil Chhetri, I was hearing that this is his fourth miss in his career, which is a uh, so I thanks to him that it could have been much worse. But Mohun Bagan, having said that, Mohun Bagan, I feel went in with a strategy to be cautious during the first two quarters of the game, especially at the first quarter of the game, and then go all in the second half, and try to finish up the game in the first quarter of the second half, which they did. Manveer Singh, I am a big fan of him. Uh, Good footballer, bad footballer. I don't know. He's definitely a good footballer. But one thing I have to say, and especially after I have had a chance to interact with him when I was in India, that he has a monster mentality. So that is something that is required, and that Even if you come across people who are maybe average in real life, but they have grit, and Manvi showed that grit. He made the difference. We have a couple of players like Dimi, Manvi. They on their day can actually uh, make a lot of difference.
And
The
one player who I think should be mentioned today, of course, he scored the first goal. Hector Yuste has been a
Oh my
very,
God,
very
yeah.
stabilizing factor for Mohun Bagan at the back. Guys, I'm seeing your comments. I'll just start with Shushmit a little bit and then I'll come to your comments as well, guys. Hector Yuste, Shushmit.
Yes. So with Hector, you'd say again, this is something I don't have qualms spilling the wheels right now. Is that when I met him in Orissa, I think this is also something that I want to bring up. He did not have his family over. You must have seen that he has had
Mm,
his family over now, and he's enjoying his time. So it is very important that a player who has this family, they feel more comfortable, more settled, and it shows. I know that Hector, you say, in my opinion, is one of been a better signings not only for Mohun Bagan but also for the entire league, especially at the price point at which we have
mm,
got him. So he had, I think, he has outperformed his value, and I wish him all the best, and I sincerely hope that he
mm,
can deliver the same result, same thing. Uh, only but then again there are certain things that I want to talk about. Is Anwar seems to be still not fit, and
mm,
especially at the right back position, and knowing Mumbai that they will try to exploit that part, we need to do better to actually get a result. Otherwise, that is something that is raising concern. Bengaluru, unfortunately for us, did not have that kind of lethal power to exploit that. They certainly tried, but of course, yeah. And I don't know, Sumi.
yeah, but
I
if let's get into the comments because here RCB Run Machine is talking. Don't you know what Bangalore is trying to play possession football? It's not their DNA. Nikhil Pujari really know what he tries, acting like Messi and tries dribbling in his own half. I think that was a little bit of the thing, no? It's not working for them, and I think that sums it up. The whole season for BFC to me is that BFC's attacking lineup today or the whole season, not even this season, I think in the last 2 3 years, it's not really worked for them, right? And the question, I saw the post-match interview with Sunil, a very, very dejected Sunil, where Eric Bartholomew was trying to sort of pick him up and trying to, bring him back a little bit. You realize that Sunil realizes is, oh, time seems to be up. And Eric was asking him, what's the plan? And Sunil was saying, listen, I'm going to go back home. I'm going to rest. I'm going to prepare for the India camp. And then, I'll come back. And he unconvincedly said, I'll come back for preseason. It was like, it was like a robot talking to me. And let's see what Sunil does. And really interesting to see and what happens. Kumar, I'll come to talk about East Bengal a little later. Let's stick to the game today. Ishan says hi to you. He says hi to Kumar. Hi from my side as well, Ishan. Gonna be a good game. Mohun Bagan, Mumbai City. We'll talk about it as well. And Kumar raising a point. I want to say something to Shushmit. Why Mohun Bagan cannot stick to Haba's formation of 4-4-2 or counter-attacking formation where the team is strong like Athletic would have under Diego Simeone. Um, yeah, interesting point. But you first, and I'll add something if you want to.
So the first part of the question, why can't we stick to Hava? See, it's not a question of we not sticking to Havas. There Antonio Lopez Havas unfortunately is not in his pink of his health, I think, and he does not. He's not there physically or mentally. He cannot take that stress to It's a very stressful job with a lot of travel involved in the background and all, which a lot of people don't realize. So it's not about us sticking to Havas, but it is also because Havas is not. He's not physically fit to coach our team long term. So we have to. We'd rather get a replacement sooner than later. He can contribute as a technical director. He has been doing it all the time. So yeah, so there is no doubt about that. So That's one thing, and another is counter attacking. I don't know why we should counter attack, especially in a match where we need to win. We have had attacking quality, and we can go all out if we want to. There was a time when we needed, and if you see the second quarter of the second half, especially, we did allow Bangalore to come in and try to, attack and all, and hit on the counter attack, and we were very good at it. So I think I will repeat what Antonio Lopez Haba said in a post-match press conference a while ago, is that it's not about having like going attack, 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 or going counter attack for the match. We have to adjust to the situation. I think that's what Manuel did today, and his changes and everything was spot on. Players did really well. I don't see a reason to stick to a philosophy and be rigid. Um, we have seen in the past Mohun tried to do that, and that did not work very well. You could go back in December and see that. So it's very important to be pragmatic and not get hung up on the vision.
But that is, Shushmin, that's I think the point, right? I think that Habas has come in, has seen the attacking potential that Mohun Bagan Supergiant have, and has really been practical in his approach in the end to decide, you know what, I have these players, let me try and use them. Petratos is your set one. You're playing around with Sadiko and Cummings. Manvir for Mohun Bagan for a number of games, even before the Afghanistan matches, was very, very good. So there, again, Amal's point on he's not showing it for the national team, I agree on that. And that's something that's, that's
Maybe
going to
he's not
be,
getting the right
again,
coach.
that is a different discussion I think we'll have next week once the ISL goes into the playoffs or is over, because I
Yeah.
think we'll get the others in as well on this conversation, because there's a conversation to have. And Rachit, what a season is this? Last match, Shield decider. Shushmit, you need to know Rachit is a Mumbai City fan, so yes. Uh,
Been there, man.
and
Been there.
and
Mohun
and
will get me killed this way.
and
I'm getting old
and
for all this.
Rachit has a very interesting point, and I think a very valid point. If Mumbai go with the 10 to win, they're going to win. If they go with the 10 to draw, they will lose to themselves, is what I feel. And that, I think, from Mumbai's side, this showed today that Mohun Bagan today, as Sushmit said, they were careful at the start, but the longer the match lasted, Mohun Bagan took charge. And what is very interesting, we've seen with the India team as well, is teams are very vulnerable at the start of the second half. We saw that yesterday with East Bengal as well, right? And the second a team concedes a second or a third, they start opening up, and then you can go in for the kill. I mean, in the end, Mohun Bagan should have won 5-6-0. The same as with Punjab FC against East Bengal. It could have been 6-7 yesterday. No disrespect, but that's the reality. So therefore, this is interesting. We were talking about this the other day. Vipin against Mohun Bagan on Deciders, perfect love story, with Vikram is already set to start. There's a nice story for this as well. Polash asking regarding Vishal Ket. Again, Vishal, I only say performance against Chennai, and I say Purva Lechempa the other night against Odisha as well. So therefore, again, we don't have any player in our system who does not do mistakes, and that's an important one. Much better game from Thapa. Him and Abhishek added a lot of stability and composure to the team. That's an interesting one, huh, Shushmit? I think one of the best games of Thapa in the recent weeks and months.
Yeah. Yes, he's a good player, especially sometimes the 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 interest of the team has to take over on the interest of the over the interest of the player. How Thapa plays, some uh, I I I definitely believe he's a good player. I'm not going to argue on what if it's the right price that Mohun Bagan has got him in, but he no doubt is a very promising player, and he's a very good player. Given a correct chance and for a role where he can play box to box and all, he will do well. And we also have to see, again, I'm not being judging Anirudh Thapa, but we also have to understand that Bengaluru, and this is again, there's no I don't mean to disrespect BFC, but they do lack any attacking prowess. Or so I don't think they were very good at dominating the midfield. So that's why they have given, especially. I will also have to add about Abhishek too. Abhishek being a
Hmm.
young player and all, especially CDM is a very uh, difficult position to get a player in the entire in world football. He is doing decent, I would say. Again, we have to be cautiously optimistic. We need to.
But Sushmit, you're saying decent. I would have said that he's done very well for himself. If you realize that you've got a Thapa, you've got a Tangri, you have Johnny Cow. I think he's learned a lot from Johnny Kauko in the last few months. I think Abhishek has done, is a very promising defensive midfielder for us. Don't you think?
The reason I say defend decent is, I think he needs to uh, do away with his uh, you know
Stupid
tendency to
fouls.
give away fouls. Yes.
Huh.
So I the reason I'm not hyping is we have hyped a lot of players in the past and they have turned out to be nothing. I really want this boy to grow and do well. He has
Agreed.
everything in him. So if he can get rid of this tendency to do, stupid fouls, he will be one of the best CDMs. So there's no doubt about it. We have to give them, but to hype him around and tell them that he's great and all, I would say I am looking at in our interest too, and it's also in his interest to put his head down and keep doing what he does and get better. He has Johnny Kauko and a good set of players to mentor him. But yes, of course, I mean at this point of time, he at least deserves to be in the reserve squad of Indian national team, if not, or at the 24 or the 30
He's in the under 23s, I think, with
under
him and
23. But yeah, it
with
should.
Vipin Mohanan and from Kerala Blasters. I think we've got two very, very talented defensive midfielders coming up. So I
Right,
hope,
right.
that the next generation of boys comes in. Rachit asking if Kratky is suspended for the game.
No, no, I don't.
No, it's not, and it's
I
not
hope
ATK
so.
Mohun Bagan, and that's the makes that clarification. Ogni is with us. Good evening, Ogni, as well. Dada, I guess this midfield trio should be there for Mohun Bagan. Tangri and Sahal not needed for the last match. That's an interesting one. That's an interesting decision that Habas most probably needs to make, because Mumbai City will play different, and you have Mumbai's way of trying to control games. I mean, interesting was that Mohun Bagan is actually in the second half actually more of a counter-attacking team. So the interesting stat was BFC actually had more of the ball but couldn't do anything with the ball. With Mumbai, that's a little bit of a difference. So interesting to see if Apuya, if Yoel Fanif, if Noguera, if that's, let's say, the midfield, how will Habas counter that? So that's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, and to answer Agni, my question will be that it will depend on the situation. See, all these pairs are specifically required in a different situation altogether. We can't say that if we are winning, if we are 2-0 up, 2 goals up, or if we are trailing, then I would I want Thapa and Abhishek when we are trailing a couple of goals down? Probably won't. I would need someone else to come in. So that's where the pragmatism of Antonio Lopez Havas comes in. I think that is something that we have to really appreciate about him, and also goes on to show that why experience is required. Why do we say that when he has an experience of 37, 38 years of coaching, this is where the experience comes in to use players at the correct time, and you can be very talented, and again I still believe one is a very, very talented coach, but this experience, he definitely lacks that experience, and that is why we see this difference. He's more.
And Shushmit, maybe also handling the players in the right way. Maybe, maybe
Yes,
Habas
yes,
has that
of course.
special touch
Not only
knowing,
Havas, we also have to
and
give this to
maybe
Manuel Casalana.
and also maybe the respect is higher for Habas for what all he's achieved in the Indian Super League over the
True.
last 10 years. I think those are factors. Just to go to what
he he
Ogni
he has
says.
played
Sorry.
final of Copa America. So even when his reputation precedes him. So it does, and even Manuel Castellana, he is also a very taskmaster type of coach. Is I had tweeted it when one left, was that they are more of a uh, friendly father, but not father in a friend in a father. So they can be strict and at times, and that is what is required. I believe, especially in Indian football, we were having a discussion that any coach that has been successful in Indian football are known to be taskmaster. Apart from,
Exactly.
I don't know, Kivu Vikuna was probably an exception who doesn't come across as, but most of them have a reputation of having a temper and
I mean,
don't.
even Manolo Marquez, Brandon Fernandez the other day said in a press conference before the Hyderabad game that I like the coaching style of Manolo, but sometimes he's very very tough on us, and I found it a very interesting thing that a senior player like Brandon is saying it in a way, and Manolo is sitting next to him, and that is and Manolo comes across as very friendly, as as someone approachable, but even he is not, and this is something that we've seen. Going to Ogni, yes, I think Mohun Bagan were more. I felt they were more focused today. I think they knew what the job was today, and they got
Right.
the job done. RCB Run Machine says if Mumbai City marks Petratos and Kauko, the game is over. I don't think so, because I think Mohun Bagan is more dimensional than just Yoni Kauko and Dimi Petratos.
Game is over
On it,
for whom I don't know. Maybe they just mark these two people and the rest of us go and score a goal.
exactly.
That could
So this marking thing is not something that both teams like to do. So that's another point.
have.
Onur says Hava will not continue for sure. Mohun will get a top coach, and next season we'll get it easily if we qualify for ACL2. I think ACL2 for any Indian team, even for Mohun Bagan or Mumbai City, will be a tough thing. I think, and again for East Bengal, it's going to be even tougher looking at how East Bengal so far is looking. So the reality is that ACL2 is not AFC Cup. It's Champions League light for an Indian club to go into that competition, to have any chance. And that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if it's Mumbai City or Mohun Bagan, who are the best teams in the league. It will
Yeah,
be
and we
very
will
difficult.
also, when we come to it, I think it's too
Exactly.
premature. We need to win it first. I don't want to discuss like hypothetical things.
Yeah. Rachit says, I'm a Mumbai fan, but I appreciate Habas for making Mumbai play like a team. Under Fernando, they were all about individual brilliance. Very good observation, no, Shushmit? I would agree with that.
Yes, of course. There is no doubt about it. Havas had, he brought in the discipline. He had put in the work. I know for sure that, especially by the amount of time they used to practice and the kind of, I think there was a level of complacency that we have big players and very talented players, and we could just go on and have a cakewalk. Which unfortunately, football is a working class game, so you cannot do that.
Exactly.
Hamas brought in that working class mentality that you need to put your heads down and do the needful to actually go in and win. So you can see, look at, I would say, get a picture of Jason Cummings at the start of the season and look how he looks now. He completely different. He must have shed what 5-10 kgs.
Sadiku missed a couple of good chances. A miss or two could cost Mohun Bagan the shield in the next game. Yeah, I mean, that could be.
Eighth
I mean,
wonder
that
of the
was.
world.
Yeah, I mean, but he still, I mean, he did score the easiest one, and there are other players who've missed those easy ones, so therefore give him the credit for that.
No, no, of
Uh,
course, but
uh,
I mean,
he's
Sadiku scores
scoring.
one of the
He's
wonder
scoring.
goals,
No, Shushmit
and then
scoring. That is it.
he misses goals that thankfully we haven't had a situation. He has scored wonder goals for us, especially against like Kerala and all, which has helped us. But especially the last match and all, we cannot have. I would hope that we will not do something like that, because that is that.
Anurup says Mumbai City Mohun Bagan is the best ISL rivalry of this decade. Yeah, it's actually evolved over the last 3-4 years. Starting with 80K at the start and then moving on. And um, for me, always, I will never forget that 12th of October 2014 opening game of the Indian Super League was Atletico de Kolkata versus Mumbai City FC, and of course we lost 3-0 in that game with this whole Anelka fiasco that could he play, could he not play, and all that stuff. So we were bogged down by that. But since then, it has, especially in the last 4 or 5 years, it has become really the biggest game. There are rivalries, as was discussed pre-match today. BFC Mohun Bagan have history since the I-League days. BFC East Bengal have some sort of a rivalry. Blasters BFC have been having a rivalry for a while. But I think this is the If it's about the shield, if it's about the title, then we'll have to say that this rivalry amongst these two teams is going to be, or is at the moment, the biggest rivalry, I think, in
You
Indian
have
football
to
team.
respect Mumbai City. They are playing fantastic football. So whoever wins, uh, I would say it's a in this era of doom and gloom. I think this is one of the good things about Indian football that is happening. Both Mumbai City and Mohun Bagan deserve to be there. They have worked their way up in spite of injuries and everything. They have played well, and I at
Exactly.
least the Mohun Bagan fan has a huge respect for the way Mumbai City is playing. We will try very hard, and I'll come to the. I mean, I'm probably jumping and watching the comments of Rachit, who says that 15th of April, Mumbai City beating their arch rival Mohun Bagan and lifting Chilean champions will follow. Yeah, I hope that does not happen. We plan to make it difficult for you, but if you do, then you deserve to be a champion. There is no
Exactly.
question about it. So
Exactly. So just
I'd
to
rather lose
answer.
to a team like that. So
Exactly. I agree. It's rather that these two teams win it than any other team. I think they both deserve it. Abdul Rahman, India play in the ACL 2, so we don't play ACL 1. We're not good enough. 24 teams. So yeah,
barely good
we have
enough for
to.
ACL two. We'll see what happens.
I will not do any more comment on this. RC Ranvishi says Peter Katsi tries acting like Pep Guardiola and tries playing Vanif as centre back like Des Buckingham did in Durand Cup against Mohun Bagan. It's over for Mumbai City. I think this does not arise because Tiri and Chroma are there. So for us as Mumbai City, that doesn't really apply. Rachit, who would have expected in the mid-season that the two mid-table teams going from a transition of coach will face the last match, which will be a potential decider? Kudos to both groups. I think that is something that I think both Sushmit and I can totally agree with. I think if anyone in December had said that the final game of the league between Mohun Bagan Supergiant and Mumbai City Football Club will decide the shield, most people would have laughed. It's the same thing as I said a few weeks ago when Chennai were 11th. And I said,
Right.
all the six teams fighting for that sixth spot are in it. And that is something which I think is a very interesting development this season, that the league is in that way very, very competitive. Even though I also have a question of that the top four, let's say, are on a different level. The Blasters have sort of dropped off, and the rest is somewhere, and then Hyderabad. But it's been a very, very competitive season. A nice piece of stat for Mumbai City fans: RCB Run Machine. Last time Habas faced Mumbai City, the scoreline was 1-5. I think he left or he was fired very, very soon after. And Ogni has a question, Shushmit, and this is something that I think a lot of people have. Uh, do you know anything? What's the status of Senor Habas?
No, it's something. I will not be surprised. I mean, can't go into the details, but because it's really hard to say. But from what I hear, there is a possibility that he might not be in the sidelines
Okay,
against Mumbai game. So there is definitely a possibility. There is a trying to find out, but there are conflicting reports coming in. So, but
okay,
it's something
okay,
serious from what I've heard.
okay. So I think from my side, and I guess from your side as well, we wish
Of course, of course, of
Senor
course.
Habas best wishes,
Yeah,
and hopefully he
I'd
gets
like
fit again
to.
soon.
I hope that the team Mohun Bagan wins and gives the shield as a gift. He certainly deserves it. He has taken us a long way, or still
Kumar has
should.
an interesting question for you. Yeah. Do you think Moman will get
So
another
Johnny
foreign
Kauko's
hinterland player
contract
or
will be
stick?
extended, from what I hear. So he's staying for sure.
So the question is, you've got three strikers now, you've got two centre backs, and you've got one midfielder. So would you rather release one of the strikers and get in another option in midfield as a foreigner?
Uh, I don't think so. The reason being, if we look at our reserve bench, I don't think we have a domestic striker uh, who can make a difference, especially if we go on to. So see, this is a premature question because a lot will depend on
Yeah.
whether we need to play Continental Championship next year or not. But best case scenario, if we win and then if we go on to play Asian Championship, I don't think we have a domestic striker that can pair up or even be a substitute of a foreign striker and then go on. So that it is more pragmatic in my opinion to go with two strikers. If we don't win, then we don't have a continental duties next year, so we might give it a try. So that will depend on the situation. It also depends on who we get, because that's also a factor. But because Johnny Kauko is not like a CDM, right? He's more of a it's something else
Yeah.
affiliated.
So little banter from Rachit for you, Shushmit.
Send me poison, man. If you play.
a little banter and a little addition. So as always, the
What's
guys
the
have done their homework on stats and infos.
getting seconds and
Yeah,
next start.
2-1 victory last time in the Mumbai Football Arena.
It's good, right? I think Havas has. I hope Havas has a very good memory and he would come for retribution. So
Yeah.
if I were you, I would be very worried.
So Rachit, that's the answer. Ishan asking good question. He was asking, what's the rationale behind playing Amandeep and why not Ashish Rai? So you have to now answer questions for Manuel and for Abbas. So
What do you think rationale behind playing Amandeep? I don't know. Ashish Rai does not exude confidence. So
that's the problem, right? I mean, we
I
were
think that's
discussing
the
a few
rationale.
weeks ago. Ashish Rai should be in the India squad, and again, he's not even a first 11 player or doesn't get in. So therefore, it's a difficult one. I think again, and what I find good, what Mohun Bagan and Mumbai City and some of the other teams have done is that they've brought in and given chances to young players, right? And even in important games. So therefore, I think that's a good sign for the clubs to do. Even we saw BFC, a player like Shivaldo getting
Look
game
at East
time.
Bengal. They had a do and die match, do or die match, not do and die, do or die match. But yet they fielded all the young
Exactly.
players, right? So they're giving them chance. So if they can give in such a decider match, we just tried one player, right? So there's nothing wrong in it. Right?
Yeah,
And
that's it.
Amandeep is a decent. I think also one of the reason being, jokes apart, I think because Amandeep is a bigger player physically, because Sunil Chetri was trying to operate. I mean, especially on the upfront, it might give him some body advantage. Maybe that was the reason. Ashish Rai is physically of the same size of Sunil Chetri, and Sunil Chetri, of course, is probably stronger than Ashish Rai, in spite of being, I don't know, 42 years old. But so so sorry, is he not?
We don't know. We don't know. We will have to ask Sunil himself.
Okay.
I just saw the teams which have qualified for ACL2 and I saw Al Nassr in there. Let's not even get into that discussion.
Al
Let's
Nassr is
move
not
forward.
even the first choice team, man. I mean, don't even.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
ACL2
that's
is a
that.
premature thing. Please, let's not discuss about it.
Exactly.
Hands down, we will just be lucky to play there. That's it.
We will talk about it. Update on Ashik's injury. Ashik is in recovery at the moment. He gave an interview in Chennai the other day. Hopes to be back very, very soon. So, also for him, best of wishes, because I think a player like Ashik Kurunian is someone who, first of all, Mohun Bagan could need, but also the Indian national team. So, best wishes for him. Aritra asking why, unlike normality where continental spots are allocated as per league standings, one is given to Super Cup winner. You actually want two best teams to represent India and Asia. Aritra, wherever in the countries, and that's the system around the world. If there are only two spots available, the first spot goes to the league champions. The second spot goes to the cup winners. In this case, it's the Super Cup in India. Therefore, East Bengal is going to be representing India in the qualifiers of ACL2 next year. So therefore, East Bengal is the team. Up to this season, we've had three spots. So in the past, we've even had the I-League winners in there. So therefore, other things that are happening. Icon Lawn.
Bagan fan.
Icon Lawn saying, do you think Mumbai should go a bit more defensively against Mohun Bagan? I think Kratki will only go for win, but should Mumbai City go with Kroma, Tiri and Vani for more stability? It's an interesting approach, but if I see especially the way Rahul Baker has played as a centre-back for Mumbai City in the last few matches, It will be interesting to see most probably if TD is fit, TD and Beke. The question is, do I start with Mehtab or do I put Valpuya in there as a right back? That would be, I think, the question to ask. And in the middle, as I said, I think Vanif, Apuya play Alberto Nogueira up front. It is going to be Jorge Pereira Diaz in the middle, Changte and Bipin on the sides. That would be most likely, but again, we never know. There might be surprises in there.
I
Rachit,
personally don't think Peter Kretke is going to change his philosophy. He doesn't
yeah,
seem to be. I don't see a reason to. Mumbai is playing very good football. If they continue doing what they're doing from and continue from last match, they they have every chance to win the league. So
yeah. Rachit has a very valid point. Just hope the referee will not do any blunder in the crucial decider. I don't care if it goes in our favor or against. I just don't want it to happen to either team. We deserve a fair match. Yes, I think everyone would be very happy with that. But
wishful
again,
thinking.
about blunders, we don't need to talk in an Indian context. I say this as someone who supports Bayern Munich. If we talk Champions League, again, there have been some robberies against German clubs this season in the Champions League. So let's not even get into that conversation.
Also, Runavada, I want to mention that I mean whoever the referee is, especially my problem with Rahul Gupta is not only does he brandish bad decisions and card, they also destroy the rhythm of the play. Like Rachit, I want to see a good game. I hope the referee does not come in middle of that.
Yeah, I
Last
agree.
time we met, that is how they destroyed the rhythm of the game. Let it play. It's not playing chess. It's a body contact game and all. Of course, I mean I'm not saying that. I mean don't give out cards, but just don't be trigger happy. Do not break the because it's going to be a good match. Let's just hope that we get our money's worth. Am I
Um,
not audible? Is
Kumar
it?
saying our audio is not loud enough, but I can hear Shushmit very well, and I can hear myself even talk. So Kumar, maybe you'll have to check on your side if your audio is good enough. Please check on that. Ishan Sunil had a strange game today. He was doing stupid antics today. I think we saw Sunil today after missing the penalty. He was to me like the young Sunil Chetri. So, I felt he was a little desperate to get something going. Not only him, but I felt Suresh also in the second half was, they were a little selfish in their game, and that I felt at least didn't help the cause of BFC in this game.
I
Kumar
think
has an
actually it was pre-planned. Sorry to interrupt.
yeah.
I do not think that he was doing this antics. See, Mohun Bagan has and this is something that he probably took a cue from Carlos Cuadrat, that he was definitely trying to rattle our players, mentally, and because if we were playing at BFC away and all. So I don't think those were like stupid antics. Sunil Chetri, you have to give it to him that he's a intelligent person. He was trying to probably mentally rattle us, but I'm glad that we did not succumb to those kind of antics and paid him. I hope gave him a match to remember.
Dipayan, Mumbai will sleep with too much oil in Kolkata, pun intended. Let's see if Dipayan, if that happens. Just one thing before I forget, I'm bad at this, but I always say that whoever's watching, always please like the channel, follow, subscribe, spread it, yeah, it's something that we will, we'll do more stuff. Mayak, little banter towards Orithro. Do you think Mohun Bagan went up second? Let's see. Anirup says Harish Kundu should be referee for 15th. Let's see who the AIFF appoint. Anjan seems to be a Mohun Bagan fan. And Ishan Arnavada, please spill the beans on the meeting that you attended and tweeted about today. It's a podcast that I attended, and and certain other peoples were in there who have or have had key positions within Indian football, or And to me, very clearly, the thing with Indian football is, and I think Shushmit and I offline have spoken about it a number of times, is the leadership and implementation, the will and the desire to implement things for the development and for the improvement of Indian football. I think that's what, and I often feel there is a lack of knowledge, that people construct realities which are not true. I've been around. Yesterday, I completed 26 years in Indian football in some sort of different capacities, and I feel that a lot of people don't know what happened 10, 15 years ago. There is a lack of understanding what happened 10, 15 years ago, and that to me is one of the biggest problems I feel in Indian football, where things have been done, and that's the reality. So let's see.
Just wanted to let you know, Mumbai City fans, that I just heard that probably the site where they purchase tickets, the Book My Show, I think it went down for if you want to buy tickets for Mumbai versus Mumbai, then there is no. So please, Mumbai City fans, if you want to buy tickets for the IS 10, please do it right now. You might not get tickets later.
Yeah,
You are most welcome. Hopefully, we have a very good match. Let's end it on a good note. You are welcome, and Joe, the thing.
Thoughts on the financial statements? Yeah. What to say? I mean, the costs have gone up. 92 lakhs spent. Kumar asking the same question. Guys, less than a crore spent on meetings is not that much of money. I mean, we are picking, Indian football fans are picking, for me, very often the wrong fights. Right? Do you want, the AIFF has to organize meetings, right? I would rather have more meetings. We don't have enough meetings in the AIFF with the stakeholders. They don't happen. Right? So therefore, my thing is, if I look at the numbers, again, the losses, as I would have said, as expected. But there is no, again, one of the biggest problems, which was also discussed in that podcast, which once it comes out, I'll share with you, is that there is no government support. The Indian government is not supporting Indian football in the way it should support Indian football. The biggest problem. And I say this with all respect to the Prime Minister, to the Sports Minister, come forward and support Indian football in the way Indian football deserves. Most other irrelevant sports are getting more support than Indian football these days. So my small request, Mr. Modi, if you ever listen to this, please support Indian football more, because then only can we be successful. So therefore, guys, to me, again, wrong battles. 92 lakhs for meetings in a context of a federation of 365 days. Let's see. So therefore that's that. And then Shushmit, Jay wants to know.
Thank you, Jay. It's really good to be back. I was traveling and a little busy with work, did not get a chance, but I'm always around. My legs are aching. I generally, last time, I wanted to give the funny anecdote. I was in Derby is when we consider a penalty, and I have a habit, I have a superstition where I stand throughout the game and not sit for Mohun to win. That's my part that I do every time Mohun plays. So I change my spots, stood somewhere else. We consider a penalty. Then the rest of my friends actually, pushed me to the place where I was standing earlier, and then Vishal saved the penalties. The exact same thing happened. I don't know if it's a stroke of luck, or I was standing somewhere else. I was actually sitting when we considered a penalty. I stood in a spot I have at my home, and then we saved the penalty. So I know this is all maybe much will
super. There is a lot of superstition. I was yesterday. I was seeing.
Yes. I am not a superstitious kind of guy, but with Mohun Bagan, I don't know. It's
so I always do that with my teams who I'm involved with. If I've worn a shirt or a polo or whatever, and it's been successful, I come back, I wash it, and then I wear it the next match. If you
Yeah.
lose, I change. So, these kind of, superstitions are there. Or,
Right. Right. Yeah.
going to the stadiums or trying to do the same things in the same way. But
Right.
that's that.
Right.
Uh, Kumar, on that, how do corporate companies organize that kind of money with 96 lakhs for meetings? The company will throw out the chief operating officers. Kumar, how do you make that judgment? Sorry to say that. In a budgeting of over 150 crores, you're spending less than 1 crore on these meetings. What does a meeting mean? An AGM? People from across India travel in for the Exco meeting. People travel in from across India. So therefore, to me, to me, that is something which is, again, you're picking the wrong battles. There are a lot of things which are wrong in Indian football, but this to me is a non-starter. There are other points in this 152 crores that we can look at, and then we can pick and choose and should be asking questions. This is not, for me, this is not a question. 96 lakhs may be sounding to you a lot, but try and organize meetings in a Delhi and a Mumbai, wherever, in a Bhubaneswar, it is not easy. And then you have not finalized your Indigo deal, where you could have saved a certain amount of money, where wrong information has been posted around by certain people. So therefore, again, as I always say, might sound a little harsh, might sound not very friendly, but there is a lot of information which is not in the public domain on what is really happening.
And I think the real question is, what have they achieved? I mean, again, I agree with you. I don't mind them spending 96 lakhs. What I would ask is that what was the outcome of those meetings? Have we had any quantitative? Can we quantitatively justify like what any groundbreaking decisions that they have taken? They can spend 100 crores if they are really changing Indian football. But if it's just
That is
about
the real point, right? But again, Akant's saying is that I don't think so. They should travel. Online meeting might solve the problem. There are many other expenses which should be fixed. Akansh, to me, out of own experience, work experience in football, one, travel and meeting people face to face for an hour or two is more worth than doing 100 Zoom meetings or Teams or whatever. Face to face, you can sort out a lot of things. And in a Zoom, where I don't know, if I've got 30, 40 people in the Zoom, am I going to have a proper conversation or a proper discussion? It's not. It doesn't work that way. So therefore, there are costs that we can discuss, but there are operational costs. There are some administrative costs which you have to bear, and that's something for me which is very, very important. So Shushmit, another fan of yours. I think we'll bring back Shushmit once in a while for you fans to enjoy our friend, my good friend Shushmit. Onava, unrelated, but please, your experience of the AFC Asian Cup against Bahrain, the last minute heartbreak. I think it was shown on the live broadcast that I was crying. So it was seen. I was trying to pull my blazer over the head. So yeah, that was my experience. That was very harsh. And I met the team afterwards. Had a long conversation with Stephen after the game at the team hotel because he had resigned in the press conference, and I got to know while traveling back in the team hotel. And I remember a lot of people around me, key people in the AIFF, were very disappointed by that decision taken by Stephen because they were actually happy with what he had done in the Asian Cup. Yeah. Ishan says those meetings were about the three gems of Indian football: astrologer, set piece coach, and psychologist. Maybe not, Ishan. There are other meetings as well which have happened. So therefore, that's what I'm saying, right? Do you have the information and knowledge to understand what happens at those meetings? I have to organize the AGM. The executive committee has to meet at least quarterly, and so therefore, yeah. So Shushmit,
yeah, I think he's asking. My friend is from Bangladesh, and there were talks
yeah.
about Robinho coming to East Bengal potentially. He has buried all of them. So that's what I'm hearing from Bangladesh, from my friends in Bangladesh, that they're saying
There's a lot of rumors. Even there was one thing that stuck out to me yesterday with Mehdi Talal and East Bengal being a done deal, the way he scored his goals, right? And he was playing with them. I don't know. Maybe there is a twist to the story, but again, I will not say anything more.
I have a question for you. I did not get a chance to review the financial statements, but do we have a number on like how much has been spent on, things like grassroots development?
Shushmit, I've just overflown it. I've not gone into detail. I'll have
Okay,
to look
yeah,
into
yeah.
the
I
detail
also
and
need
then
to, because that is
and
something that's going to tell a lot that how much money was allocated. As you have said, meetings and all these things are not very high priority things out of 150 crore, because that is, I believe that is a similar amount that was being spent on referees last year, 96 lakhs or something like that. And when I talk about referees all across India playing, under 13 national leagues, and out of which, if I'm not wrong, 70 lakhs was for like rest of the referees, and the rest, the 20 lakhs or something like that, was especially for the elite panel of the likes of Rahul Gupta and Crystal John. So yeah, that's I'd be interested to see like if they are spending the correct amount of money in those places, with grassroots development, with the coaching things, and if they have tried to reach out to the grassroots level to make coaches and all. That is what is required. Again, as you said, I mean, I'm more interested about what has been the outcome of the meetings. They can
exactly.
meet as much as they want. I mean,
Exactly. That's my point. Dada, I don't think they're happening in Bangkok, those meetings. And Kumar says, I do not want to see any audit report. However, there have been so many irregularities. Does AIFF have the courage to go audits with CAG of India?
I'd like to answer
Uh,
that. So two things. First of all, Kumar, any financial reports that has been published is generally audited and signed over by a chartered accountant. So if you are saying that there are irregularities, that means you are also saying that someone endorsement of a chartered accountant is not. I mean, that there is something to do with it, which is a huge statement, and I would say that we should not something like this lightly without any potential proof. And the second thing is that AIFF does not come under the purview of CAG. CAG is specifically to audit government bodies, and AIFF is not a government body. So that's the two part of to it.
the point to me is in all these conversations, and I've said that this to you, Kumar, in our Twitter spaces. Can you prove these irregularities? Can anyone prove the corruption and other allegations that are there? The problem is, to me, is I cannot make an allegation against XYZ and say, this is the truth. And it's being reported in the media like that's the truth, and that is my biggest concern that we have at the moment, that we have people selling unproven facts as facts. That there are issues and problems in Indian football, you don't need to discuss. Even I have heard a lot of things, but I know a lot of things. But again, if I can't prove it, I'm not going to go out there and say, listen, the XYZ did this. That is our biggest problem. And I can't say increase in tournament camps and other expenses, 42 crores, 222. 22 can be very simple. Is that you are holding your leagues and your tournaments, or some youth didn't happen. That's one. And secondly was that we were in a bubble. So therefore, costs have gone up. But again, I have not gone through the figures. So let me go through the figures, and then we can have a conversations, because this is, again, I need to
Things have gotten
see.
expensive too, right? We have like a
Yeah,
6-7% inflation, and so there is a possibility that things are more
yeah.
expensive and they have done the same thing. It's very difficult unless we do a forensic.
Exactly. Ishan asking on our news on Big Boss House, read as AIFF House. Nothing at the moment. Things are quiet, and I think things will remain quiet as long as the elections will not happen. And we got the general elections, which are happening now in April and May. So only after the general elections are done will I think see movement in things. So I think before June nothing will happen. Ultimate Sports asking Coach Habas Mumbai match at Thakche. If I understand, Shushmit, and what I've also heard from other people, it looks unlikely he will be there on Monday. So that's the,
Probably
yeah.
not. Yeah, that's what we hear. So we need to
Sorry,
be mentally prepared.
sorry, Roshan, I missed your earlier question. Under 20 state championship starting tomorrow. Nothing much, to be honest. I am not that big a fan of these whole state championships. I'm rather more, I would rather have an under 20 league or something of that sort. To me, that is, therefore, but again, it's happening. So therefore, hopefully, some good talent will come up, and the clubs especially the I League clubs, hopefully can use this as a scouting platform.
My
Uh,
expectation is sorry, now that they
Sorry.
field really under 20 players. I think that is the biggest win for Indian football if they really field under 20 players. That's the most that
On
we
that,
can
at the
hope.
moment, I've given up. No, we've got 25-year-olds playing under 15. So what's the point in
Right,
that?
right. I think that
Roshan
none
has
the
any
sample.
success to Sunanda Dhar? No, there has been no successor to Sunando in the AIFF. Yeah, I realize your typo. That said, Ishan asking, says, any Indian club that is profitable, surely these large losses are not sustainable. Ishan, this has been something that's been spoken about in the last 30, 40 years in Indian club football. East Bengal and Mohun Bagan were lucky that Mr. Malia came forward in the 90s to partner the two biggest Indian clubs, and with Kingfisher and McDowell's on both the sides. That has pushed up. You saw Mahindra spending a lot of money at some stage. JCT started in '95 before the NFL started spending. They brought in Baichung, they brought in I.M. Vijayan, Jupol Ancheri, Stephen Abarovai, created the best team next season, won the I League. So these kind of things, the cost implication of Indian football is something which has multiplied in the last few years. And why is that? Because our player pool, we will have a 13 team ISL, and likely a 13, maybe 14, 15. Someone said to me that maybe the AIFF might not relegate Neroka and Trao, which is in my opinion is ridiculous. But again, let's see what they do. That we don't have a pool at the moment. We've got 25 clubs in the top two tiers of Indian football. I at least don't see enough players in the system to sustain 25 clubs. Therefore, I see that the talent base has been diluted over the last few years, and so therefore, that's something that's the reality. So for me, for clubs to become profitable, you need television rights, and television rights at the moment are a big zero. Whatever other people are saying, television rights are worth nothing. And as long as that's a reality, it's going to be very, very difficult to say.
And I also don't think, Arunav, that clubs are very, based on my experience in India, I don't think clubs are very hyper focused on trying to, make money and turn profitable. I still think that investors are looking at Indian football as a CSR initiative rather than looking at it as a business where they can potentially make money. The reason I say this, and the biggest example of this is, at least I can talk about Mohun Bagan, is that high value tickets like the VVIP and the VIP box, those tickets are not sold, which is ridiculous to me. There are a lot of people who can afford to go there, stay, go with their family, have a good time, and those times are huge from what I experienced, and not selling a single ticket and just selling it for 15 minutes and then closing it out while giving out complimentary tickets is a ridiculous approach to the game, especially when the prices of those tickets are in a ratio of 20 is to 1. So that is my understanding of the investors, that they are not looking at it as a business where they can potentially make money. I mean, probably also because that fans are not, they do not have a confidence that fans are going to spend enough to, so that they can recoup their money. If this is
Exactly.
happening like Mohun Bagan and East Bengal's, for example, tickets are much cheaper, and even then they are not able to clock 20,000 supporters every match. What else they would do? I mean, they the money is going down the drain, and that so
Exactly.
yeah.
Uh, or now you're saying there is no corruption. I've seen most corruption in the government bodies. I have seen a file case. I've go to court for 10 years. We already have. Listen, Kumar, I didn't say that. What did I say? Please understand that to me, I will not publicly say XYZ is corrupt as long as I have not seen the corruption. I know. Tell me anyone in Indian football and I'll tell you, what the person is and what the person isn't. You will not be able to do that. But the point to me is, I will not publicly say XYZ is this, XYZ is that. And very often there are allegations against people, which tend to be wrong. And those who show themselves to be clean and doing things the right way, they're the worst offenders, actually. So therefore, for me, if you can prove it, go ahead, do it. It's to prove corruption anywhere in the world is very, very difficult. If you have the proof, go ahead, and that is something. It's not an Indian problem; it's a global problem, and therefore, that's something which we have to see. Probably the only way, Ishan says, is to crowdfund, where we consider our money spent as donations. Like Sushmita was speaking about crowdfunding for VR. I think crowdfunding will not work. My problem is, how much can you crowdfund? How much did East Bengal raise with their crowdfunding at the start of the season? I don't even know, right? And that's the point. How much? I mean, we're talking about crowdfunding in crores. We're not talking in thousands or lakhs. We're talking in crores. Can you crowdfund, let's say, 30, 40, 50 crores? Are the fans willing to spend that much of money? Where there is a mentality of free tickets and all these other things that are there in the system. That is my concern. That is my problem with where we are at this moment. No? That we have to understand that the fans need to try and contribute more into the system. I totally agree on that. But the problem is for me that large corporates need to come forward. Again, television rights is something. Television rights in India are a big zero at the moment. Our biggest problem in Indian football, the television rights are non-existent, are a big zero. So therefore, as long as that doesn't change, it's difficult. How much does a popular club like Kerala Blasters make from ticket sales? I'm guessing it can be a good sum. It's not enough. And Kumar is right. Shushmit is right. There's also a cost of renting the stadium, organizing the matches, the profit if any is bigger. Most clubs earn from TV rights worldwide. The merchandise, I will tell more in life. Exactly. Please, Shushmit.
Yeah, so ticket sales, I mean, I don't know, even if you charge 100 rupees or like 200 rupees, it's not enough because you also need to rent the stadium. As far as I know, Kerala Blaster does not own the stadium, and there's a cost.
No Indian, Shushmit, no Indian club owns this.
I think Srinidhi probably owns the stadium in I-League, right?
Yeah.
So there is only one. There are not many clubs that own the stadium. So with that being said, it is. And worldwide too, I don't think there are clubs that make a lot of money selling tickets. And you also have to see this is also a mindset change in mindset that is required. Clubs also has to look at this as a opportunity to.
Ishan has a point. Yes, Jamshedpur, it's owned by the Tatas, so it's a free thing. But it's not. The ticket pricing in Jamshedpur is very, very low because in Jamshedpur, the Tatas want to fill the stadium. So therefore, profitability not happening.
Right, and you also need to, just like airlines, how they make profit from the business class tickets and not with the economy class tickets. At least, as you can see this use case of Austin FC, where I am located in Texas, United States. They started from nothing, and you can go on YouTube and watch the facilities and the kind of facility that, and especially the VIP experience. If you go to any Europe clubs and stuff, you will see that I get the money that I am spending, and that is way, way above what the average cost of a ticket is. It's probably always 10x, 20x times. But you also need to give that experience to someone who is spending that kind of money. If I'm getting nothing in return, I have to, still I get like a suboptimal experience, then people are not going to return. We have to look at this as from an entertainment purpose. Someone like me has an option to watch a movie on Netflix or to watch a Mohun Bagan match, uh, and they need to make it that uh, they need to take it a point where I would choose Mohun Bagan match over watching a Netflix series. So that is something that we haven't been looking for. I know it's been time and again it's been said that we customer like the supporters do not spend enough, but they also need to look at us as a customer in a sense that they need to provide the service. So it's a two-way street. We need to come out from that mentality where we uh, do not spend enough for our clubs. There has, especially because in India the copyright laws are not very strictly enforced. Things like Moidan market thrives, and you can get a Mohun Bagan jersey for like 200 rupees, where the original jersey costs around 1200. Uh, Clubs need to make it a way to make it affordable for a lot of over, I mean, to have variety so that they don't get financially crunched. But at the same time, we also need to come away from that habit of buying cheap duplicate stuff where the copyright violations are happening left and right. So it's a two-way street, and we have to mature as supporters. Clubs have to mature as enterprises. So that is something that is required. Broadcasting, we do. I'll have to tell this, that with ISL and all, the broadcasting has improved for sure, especially from the I League, where I felt that they were actively trying to dissuade us from watching games. I mean, especially in US and all. I mean, I there is no corner of internet that I haven't gone to get a live stream. So that is a very and the timings and all. I know it's 8:30 and all, which is a little inconvenient, but that also gives opportunity to support viewers in UK, US to watch the games. So that is also something which is good. Um, for example, NRI market, they haven't tapped in a little bit. We have run pillar to post, and there is absolutely radio silence from any clubs. So these
Exactly.
things.
But, I mean, those are realities. And I think Roshan, of course, adding those points, Roshan, of course, like me living here in Germany, understands that how important that broadcasting part is, and ticketing is something where you can generate revenue. But in India, your first problem is you are renting the stadium. So before even one fan has come in and paid you X, whatever the figure is, 100, 200, 1,000, 1,500, whatever, you are already spending the money. So therefore, these are realities, um, you know, and Ishan, I think that is something very interesting that I also said in yesterday's discussion is, that FSDL is the first one. FSDL and AIFF get told off left, right, and center, but every stakeholder has to play their role. And at the moment, to me is. A good example is that look at BFC. Bengaluru FC has done a lot of things right in the last 11 years. But to be successful on the football field does not mean that if you're doing off-field a lot of things right, that you will be able to deliver on that. So therefore, yeah, in an Indian context, it's a difficult one. And Kumar, if Ashish from Khelna was saying two I-League clubs are shutting down next season, I am not surprised, because the owners and the people who run clubs are trying to survive without return of even covering their cost. Forget return of investment, making a profit. These are realities of Indian football. So this is something, well said, rent stadium, pay local municipal taxes, pay the police, securities, there are a lot of costs involved in running games. And in certain places, I've organized matches myself. I remember I organized Bagan versus India in 2012. It is very difficult to do it in Delhi with all, with not a football friendly, and that's the thing. And Ishan, why would a BFC, or why would the Jindals, or the same applies to Sanjeev Goenka, why would they put their profits of IPL into ISL? Why? What is it? I mean,
They have been doing this, right? I think
yeah, that's
Parjindal
something.
came out
And the thing is, Parjinder has been very vocal about the losses. And Kumar, can we have a sponsor for VAR? You can have a sponsor's name. We don't have Kumar. Let's start with the basics. At the moment, we don't have a title sponsor of the Indian Super League, which means that not only the league, but the clubs are not getting money out of the central pool for sponsorship. Hero was there for 9 years. They did not review. So the reality of Indian football in today's context is that we are unable to generate the money which is needed to run Indian football. That is the reality. It's all of them. If you would hear figures of what Mr. Goenka spent on Atletico de Kolkata / ATK / ATK Mohun Bagan / Mohun Bagan Super Giant, we should be saluting that gentleman for the money that he spent. And the same applies to every other investor who's put in money into Indian football. Look at what Bunker Hill,
And we also have to stop looking at VAR as a magic potion that's going to take away all our woes.
VAR didn't do anything. I go back to
we can
Bayern against
only-
Arsenal, where the referee after match says, you know what? Oh, the guy did a child's mistake. That should not be deciding factor in a match in a Champions League quarterfinal. What BS is that? Huh? Leipzig was robbed against Real Madrid in the last round. Twice, not once, twice. So VAR is not going to be the thing that is going to going to change things magically. So therefore we have to be realistic. There are problems in Indian football, there are struggles, there are challenges, and Ishan says, I would argue VAR has made football even more controversial. To some extent, yes. To some extent, no, because some easy decisions have been taken care of. And we're talking about 60, 70, maybe, I don't know, maybe 80% of decisions have been rectified, which are wrong. But on the other side, the last 20 or 10% or maybe 30% of decisions which are still being discussed are not rectified because there is still a human being deciding it. And that is as objective as a VAR referee can be. But a VAR referee can also get it wrong, as you've seen, or he might not see something. So therefore, to me, VAR is not the ultimate solution of sorting out mistakes of referees, because also we have to be honest, football has become much, much faster.
Also, I think this applies for all walks of life. I mean, if you are even from a technology perspective, if you're always on a bleeding edge, right, that comes at a cost. Think about, you buy a new model of a car, you buy a latest model of a phone, you will be the first one to bear the brunt of something not going right. So same thing applies for VAR. If anything, I would say it is possible that when we implement VAR, we will actually by that time the VAR system will be evolved enough to not make as much mistakes as we. I would like to see a certain level of artificial intelligence or something like that being introduced to assist. That is a good use of artificial intelligence, I would say, because
and that will come. Give it
as long
another
as you are
2-3 years.
mistakes are going to be made. There is no doubt about it.
There's something, na. Roshan, VAR is creating issues mostly where implementation plan is not clear. See that in Germany, Premier League, La Liga, whatever, So therefore, that's that. Monarch says clubs can generate revenue if they produce quality youth footballers from their academies. Indian clubs really need to think about this too. Yeah, but the point is,
that is making revenue. I mean, worthwhile revenue. I don't know of any. Especially
and this is something Shomo adds on that. Na? Most of the clubs do not understand sustainable football development. Championship is not cup of tea for every club, but you can sign good young players, including foreigners, and sell players abroad. Who's going to buy your players? Someone who ends up in India. You are already at a very low level of football. What kind of players are we signing? We're signing players from the third, fourth, fifth year of football in Europe or even South America. No one's going to buy our players for money. They have to live on a free.
And to add to that, Shoma, I also want to include one more thing. I think one of the reasons why, especially I can talk about Mohun Bagan, why Sanjeev Goenka, and I will try to answer the question that Kumar asked later, is that why are we not building stadium? Why are we not building academies and all? See, I think it is also because that they are a little apprehensive. I'll tell you the reason. If I was in his shoes, I don't know if FSDL is going to renew their contract coming to 2025. So if I am investing a lot of money and then I'm stuck because God forbid if FSDL withdraws and we don't have ISL altogether, then where are we going to go? We are already not a profit making business for sure. So would you spend another 100 crores or something like that? And this is not, it is always easier to buy players rather
Shushmit,
than.
your 100 crores will get you nowhere. If once you build your property, let's say you build a stadium and 2 or 3
No,
training
this is
grounds next to it.
about with government assistance where they gave us free land and all those kind of things I'm talking
But
about.
I'm thinking, forget even the free land. If you want to build in a city like Kolkata, a stadium, let's say of 20,000 people, let's say 20, Kumar's ideas of 20,000 people, right? What will your first problem be? You will have to play the big matches at the Salt Lake Stadium. So it means you're not going to be playing your big matches at home, right? Mohun Bagan already now has about 30,000 on average as fans. A club like Mohun Bagan or East Bengal or even Mohun Sporting, some people are saying might go to Kishore Bharati, which has a capacity of 12,000. Already Mohun Sporting fans are saying, listen, we will flock to the Salt Lake Stadium for every game. I don't know if it will happen or not, but that discussion has already started, right? So the point here is, what do I build? How big is it? How much does it cost me to maintain? And have I, in a city like Kolkata, can I get an average, let's say, ticket pricing of 1,000 rupees, which then
Right.
makes it possible for me to install a professional management to run the facility? Can I use the facility for something else? It is a very complex thing. And the land acquisition part is the biggest problem in all of this. You know, it's a huge problem.
Honestly, I don't think they're looking at it this way, and especially but it's easy, as I said, it's easier to buy Cummings than build a stadium or being a academy. The downside of Cummings not working, rather than losing out on a stadium on an empty stadium, is much more. I mean, is definitely a lower risk. So I don't think the investors in the clubs are looking at it that way, and also they do not have any motivation, especially in Kolkata, to build an academy, because in India, in a country like India, where the contracts are not enforced, there are lower division clubs in Kolkata. There are academies that are running in the outskirts of the city, where you have a pool of players that have some sort of education that comes in, and you can Mohun and East Bengal can always pick and choose the best of the litter.
And that's what they've been doing for over 100 years.
Right, right, of course.
That is something, that has to
That's
be
how
said.
it has
Mohun
been.
Bagan, East Bengal rarely create, they give maybe the finishing touches to players. But for them, it is mainly about developing the players at that is something which is happening. Shomo, your question, an idea challenge regarding future roadmap for the clubs. It might sound hard as someone who's run clubs.
I strongly
Um,
object to these. Please
yeah,
do not listen to
as a fan, I'm saying sorry in beforehand because most fans will not want to hear this. Fans don't understand how to run a club, and it's not for me in Indian I'm saying this on a global. I tell that to my German friends on a regular basis who do not work in football. You do not know how a Bayern Munich, a Borussia Dortmund, a Schalke, whatever works. You have no clue. You think as a football fan, you understand how the game is organized. Listen, everyone also knows what the coach needs to do on the field. You don't know that. Even we are talking about things where I am not sitting in the hot seat. Shushmit is not sitting in the hot seat. Senor Habas or Manuel, they have to take a call, or Gerard Zaragoza needs to take a call on the other side. It's their decision. And they have to live with it if it's good or bad. So for me, it is very easy to say that fans will give you the inputs. Difficult. I need sports management professionals to come into the game more with the knowledge, with the understanding, especially in a city like Kolkata, and they should be giving the power. Not only that, even within the AIFF, I feel that should be the way ahead. Ishan agree, he had a good foundation because of the large land inherited. Baby leagues in Bangalore are still active. That Richard was very yes, they are still very, very active. Vignesh says Manveer Singh equal power of money. I wouldn't say that. I would say rather quality coach versus no quality coach. But that's, Shushman and I have spoken about it. Prasenjit says, AIFF tournament, Chhattisgarh, huge achievement for us. Love from Chhattisgarh. Yeah, great. Congratulations. Hope the under-20 championships goes off well. I think that's an important one. I see Shushmit, 1 hour and 20 minutes nearly completed. 43 people watching. As always, please, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe. Help me to move towards the 1K. I'm not like Hiren who wants 10K. I want this 1K. So that's a start for me. Small aim at the moment. So please do leave a like. Do leave a message also. I try and reply to your comments. I created a small video overnight regarding Chennai FC making it to the Super Six, to the top six, or whatever we want to call it, Super Six or whatever. And again, spread this. A big thank you, Shushmit, for you coming in. And to me, Kumar, East Bengal was yesterday, so and it's done and dusted, and again Chennai is through, so therefore that was yesterday. We're talking about today, and we want to talk about Monday. Let's see, maybe if Shushmit has time, if I have time, maybe we'll do a small little discussion pre-match. Maybe do even a watch along. I don't know. Let's see if I'll speak to you on the other side.
Watch along, please.
Okay.
To watch along, please.
Okay. You don't want to jinx it, but again, most probably
No, not
post-match.
jinx it. I don't want it to be recorded and
your reactions.
Yeah.
I fully understand that. No, but Shushmit, thanks a lot. I guess Monday evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone who have interacted. Really
exactly. It's always good, guys, and again, we love to do this. We hope again. I hope that Rahul is back, and then Hiren is there. Then we can maybe do it together with Sports Company and Hiren towards the end. Today also announced the dates for the matches in regard to playoffs, and then the semis and the finals. So 4th of May is going to be the day of the final of the Indian Super League. 4th of May, of course, for Star Wars fans, is a big day. So just a side thing. And Prasenjit says states like Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh need professional clubs, though I do not see any benefit of Jamshedpur FC in Jharkhand. It's something. Shushmit answers this. We need clubs in central India. Twitter space, yes, is something, Kumar, I would love to do, but again, sometimes it's a bit of a timing issue, and again, I still have to do my work, and again, people like Shushmit also taking time off his work to join me for this long session. So therefore, we will try and do it. Thanks again, guys. I'll be back in the next few days. Shushmit, congratulations, 4-0 Mohun Bagan win at BFC. Historic win in that way. And on Monday,
see you on Monday.
Decider. We'll see each other on Monday. We should have fun. And,
I'll post a picture, I promise.
In that stadium, maybe, Shushmit. Next time.
I really wish. I was unbeaten the time I was in India. In fact, so
then stay on Monday in America.
Shaggy or whoever, please don't jinx.
Oh, Shaggy's coming in late. Shaggy, I think a hard evening for you, Shaggy.
We'll give a good fight.
And Shaggy says good turnout of Mohun Bagan Super Giant fans in Continental. But yeah, I think atmosphere was good, from at least what I could hear on television.
We have an established fans club. They've been there for a long time, and especially there's a lot of Bengalis in Bengaluru working in technology field, and also we have never had even if you play somewhere in Chhattisgarh, I'm sure we'll have Mohun Bagan fans standing up there. So
again, that's I think the biggest advantage that a club like Mohun Bagan has, that it has its sort of dedicated fan base, and you go wherever you're playing, you can generate something. Ishan says thanks to both of us. Ishan, thank you. Ishan, hopefully we were able to answer some of your questions, your queries, not only yours but all the others as well. Thanks a lot for being interactive with us. Now it's the final one. Now really it's the end. I'll catch you very, very soon. I'll try and do something tomorrow, but latest on Monday evening, Shushmit and I are going to be back. Maybe some others will join us as well. Catch you. Good night. Bye, everyone.